All right, so we are back for another deep dive. And today, we're going to be looking at something kind of huge that's happening in India
Yeah.
with online commerce.
Mm-hmm.
You know how online shopping has just blown up,
Yeah.
right? And it's created so many opportunities for people to, like start their own businesses from home, often without needing a ton of capital.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty wild to see, right?
It's really cool.
And India has a real powerhouse leading this whole thing, especially with this online reselling.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of Meesho?
Yes, absolutely. Meesho is a fascinating company to watch.
Yeah, and that's exactly who we're going to be looking at today.
Awesome.
Our mission with this deep dive is to give you a really clear and thorough understanding of Meesho, like how it works, the journey that they've been on.
Okay.
And the key factors that have driven its crazy growth in India's e-commerce space.
Sounds good.
So think of this as like your shortcut to getting the full picture on Meesho.
I like.
We got some good stuff today.
Okay.
Excerpts from a detailed article that covers everything.
Right.
From the initial concept to, how they've expanded and the challenges they've faced.
Great.
So why don't we just jump right in?
Yeah, let's do it.
So Meesho, how does it actually work?
Okay, so at its core, Meesho is a connector between people making products, mostly manufacturers, and people who want to sell them.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a pipeline, right? On one end, you got manufacturers making all kinds of stuff, clothes, accessories, furniture, kitchen stuff, cosmetics, all listing their stuff on the Meesho app.
Okay.
And then on the other end, you've got people, the resellers, they browse the catalog and pick products they think they can sell through their own networks on social media. So, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, all that.
Interesting.
So it's different from regular e-commerce where customers buy directly from a platform, right?
Right.
The reseller is like this key link, curating and selling to their own people. And what's really neat is how easy it seems to be for the reseller.
Yeah.
From what I've read.
So it seems like, the reseller finds a product they think their network will like.
Exactly.
They share a photo,
Yep.
a quick description on their social media, and then they handle the conversation and any agreements with the customer.
Exactly.
And then Meesho takes over the delivery thing.
Exactly, which can be pretty complex, especially in India.
Right, yeah. And then the buyer pays, however they want online, or that cash on delivery thing.
Oh, yeah, that cash on delivery thing. That's huge in India, It really helps build trust, especially for people new to online shopping.
For sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back a bit.
Okay.
Talk about the people behind Meesho.
Right.
So we've got Sanjeev Barnwal,
the CTO.
right, and Vidit Atre, the CEO, both from IIT Delhi.
Yeah. That's impressive.
Sanjeev worked on Android camera hardware at Sony Mobile.
Okay, so a solid tech background.
Yeah, and Vidit focused on growth strategies at InMobi,
Interesting.
the mobile marketing platform.
Yeah.
And he also worked at ITC Limited.
Oh, wow. So a good mix of tech and business sense right from the start.
Right.
That must have been a big help early on.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, Vidit knowing how to grow a company would have been crucial. And Sanjeev with his tech skills, well, obviously that's key for building the platform.
Totally.
But the article mentions something called Fashneer.
Oh, yeah, Fashneer.
What was that all about?
Right, so Fashneer was Meesho's first version
Okay.
back in 2015, and it was actually pretty different.
Oh, how so?
They wanted to be a local delivery service, just for fashion stuff,
Yeah.
Swiggy or Zomato,
Yeah.
but for clothes and accessories.
Okay.
So local shops would put their stuff on the Fashneer app, and people nearby could order from them. And Fashneer would handle the delivery.
So like a hyper-local fashion marketplace.
Exactly.
Interesting.
But they kind of quickly moved on from that.
Yeah, why was that?
Well, they saw a couple things.
Okay.
One, people weren't really into buying fashion,
Okay.
specifically from local stores, through an app.
Okay.
The demand just wasn't there.
Right.
And then the shop owners themselves.
Yeah.
They wanted more.
Okay.
They didn't want to be limited to just their neighborhood.
Right.
They wanted to sell online across India.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
To a bigger audience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that was the key insight.
What was that?
The founders noticed that these shops were already using WhatsApp
Oh, interesting.
to connect with customers,
Okay.
sharing photos of products and stuff.
Yeah.
But their reach was obviously limited.
Right, just to whoever they knew.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that sparked the idea.
What was that?
What if they could build on that whole social selling thing? but make it way bigger.
Nationwide.
Exactly.
Clever.
So by the end of 2015, Fashionaire became Micho.
Okay.
And they went all in on this reselling model.
So they saw what people were already doing,
right,
made a way to do it bigger.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And, the article talks about how hands-on the founders were in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
Vidit even said, Sanjeev and I fulfilled every role. We did the inventory of every shop, spending entire days taking photos of all the products and cataloging them on our app.
Wow.
I also worked as the delivery person in the beginning because I wanted to hear my customers' feedback firsthand.
That's dedication.
Yeah. So like getting that direct understanding of what sellers and customers needed, that must have been super valuable.
Totally. I mean, that kind of firsthand experience, especially when you're just starting out, it's so important.
Right.
So let's talk about their business model now.
Okay.
How has it changed since those early days?
Okay, so the basic idea is still the same, connecting suppliers. And now it's not just manufacturers, it's those shopkeepers too.
Okay.
To the resellers.
Right.
Who then sell to the customers. Micho still handles all the delivery, the cash on delivery option and returns. Okay. Which makes it way easier for the suppliers and resellers.
Yeah, that takes a lot off their plate.
For sure. But there was a big change in 2021.
Oh, what happened?
They shifted their focus from being just about the resellers to being more of a business-to-business or B2B platform.
Interesting. So what does that mean exactly?
So they still work with individual resellers, but now they're also focused on helping all kinds of businesses.
Okay.
The suppliers boost their sales, giving them the tools and the network to reach a ton more people.
Okay.
And it's different from that direct-to-consumer or D2C model, where a company sells directly to the customer.
Yeah.
Micho is more about enabling commerce between businesses and individuals. And the reseller is often that crucial link.
Interesting. So that B2B shift, it seems like it would make the business more scalable.
Yeah.
And maybe even lead to a more reliable way to make money.
Right.
By working with the whole supply chain.
Yeah.
So speaking of money.
Yeah.
How does Micho actually generate revenue?
Well, it's actually kind of interesting.
Well, how so?
Initially, they probably took commissions from vendors on reseller sales. That's pretty common for e-commerce platforms.
Right, yeah.
But now they say they have a 0% commission policy for suppliers across all their product categories. And they don't charge the resellers either.
So no cut from the transactions?
No.
How are they keeping the lights on then?
Right. Well, the article mentions a few things.
Okay.
First, logistics.
Okay.
They handle all that for the suppliers.
Right.
Warehousing, shipping, delivery, the whole shebang.
Yeah.
And they charge for these services.
Okay.
But they're also actively trying to reduce those costs.
Okay, so they're making it cheaper for the sellers.
Right.
That's good.
Yeah, and then they've got advertising revenue.
Oh, okay.
Suppliers can pay Micho to like highlight their products.
Okay.
Make them stand out to resellers and maybe even directly to customers through things like Micho Mall.
Okay, so instead of taking a cut of each sale, they're making money from these extra services like logistics and advertising.
Right.
Especially in such a competitive market.
Yeah, it's pretty smart.
So let's talk numbers.
Hey.
How much has Micho actually grown?
It's pretty impressive.
All right, lay it on me.
As of August 2024, they have over 5 million products.
Wow.
In more than 650 categories.
That's a lot of stuff.
They've got over 1.1 million sellers.
Okay.
And they've reached over 140 million customers.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's huge.
And they're delivering to over 19,000 PIN codes across India.
Wow, they're everywhere.
Pretty much. And they had 1.1 million active resellers as of March 2023. And the Micho app has been downloaded over 145 million times by the end of 2023.
So they're clearly doing something right.
Right. And they're working with over 20,000 manufacturers in more than 500 towns.
So they're really tapping into the whole country.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how quickly they've grown.
Yeah, in a pretty short time. What about their financials?
Oh, yeah. So their operating revenue jumped to 715 crore INR in fiscal year 2024.
Okay.
Up from 500 and 735 crore the year before.
Right.
And their net loss went down to 305 crore in FY24.
Okay.
From 1675 crore in FY23.
Wow. So their losses are shrinking.
Yeah.
That's a good sign.
And their adjusted losses for FY24 dropped by a crazy 97%.
Whoa.
Ending up at just 53 crore.
So they're getting close to being profitable.
It seems like it.
That's great to see.
And they're not just sticking to reselling either.
Oh, really? What else are they doing?
They've got this thing called the Misho Superstore.
Okay.
Which used to be their Farm Miso thing. They relaunched it in April 2022.
Okay.
And it's all about everyday needs
Yeah.
for people in Tier 2 markets and beyond.
So they're going after that online grocery market.
Exactly. And they expanded to 6 states in just 9 months.
That's fast.
They see a huge opportunity there.
Yeah, that market's barely online right now.
Like only 0.5% digital penetration.
Wow. So there's a lot of room to grow.
Yeah. And then they've got Misho Mall, too.
Misho Mall.
That seems to be them becoming like a full-fledged e-commerce platform.
Okay, so branching out beyond just reselling.
Right.
It's a smart move. I mean, they're building this big user base. They've got the logistics figured out.
Right.
And they're learning a ton about the market.
Yeah.
So why not expand to other things?
Makes sense, right?
Totally. But I imagine they've had their share of challenges too.
Oh, yeah.
Like any company growing this fast.
In the beginning, like any online retail startup, they had the usual problems.
Like what?
Not enough transactions.
Oh.
Shipping headaches, supply shortages. Yes, those are common.
And the CEO even talked about how they decided early on
Yeah.
not to hold their own inventory
Okay.
to help support small businesses,
Yeah,
which probably made things even more complicated with the supply chain.
for sure.
And then, of course, COVID hit,
Oh, yeah.
and that messed things up for everyone.
For everyone.
Supply chains got disrupted, and they had to shift their focus
Okay.
to essential goods like groceries and masks
Yeah.
to support their resellers.
Yeah, makes sense.
And they even started a microcredit program
Oh, wow.
to help resellers who were struggling financially.
That's great. They really stepped up to support their network.
Yeah, but they've also had to make some tough decisions.
Oh, yeah. What kind of decisions?
The e-commerce market in India got super competitive.
Right, with Flipkart and Amazon.
Yeah,
They're both giants.
And Misho wanted to become profitable. So they shifted from mostly social commerce
Okay.
to a more direct business-to-consumer approach.
In some areas. And they had to streamline their operations,
Yeah.
which meant layoffs.
Oh, wow. That's always tough.
Yeah. They let go of 150 employees in April 2022,
Okay.
and then another 251 in May 2023.
It's never easy to hear about those kinds of cuts,
Right.
but sometimes it's what companies have to do
Yeah.
to stay in business.
Right. And they've had other challenges, too.
Oh, like what?
Counterfeit products being sold on the platform.
That's a common problem for online marketplaces.
Right. So they had to take legal action
Okay.
and tighten up their quality control.
Yeah, to protect their reputation.
Exactly. And they've even been targeted by smear campaigns
Really?
with influencers spreading false information.
Wow. That's messed up.
Yeah. So they took legal action there, too.
It's crazy the things people do.
Right.
But I guess it comes with the territory when you're growing this fast.
Yeah.
So how have they been able to fund all this growth?
Investors seem to love them.
Okay.
They've raised $1.4 billion
Wow.
over 13 funding rounds. That's impressive.
Their last one was a $275 million venture round
Okay.
back in May 2024.
Wow. And the article lists some big names who've invested in them.
Yeah. So people definitely believe in their potential.
Yeah. It seems like they've consistently been able to attract big investments, which says a lot about the opportunity they're tapping into.
Right.
The article also mentions that they've invested in a company called Elenis.
Oh, yeah. Elenis?
Right.
They've actually invested in them twice
Really?
in their seed round and their Series A.
So they must really believe in them.
Right. They
Yeah.
seem to think Elenis is onto something big.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So beyond money,
Yeah.
what about partnerships?
They've teamed up with a bunch of different organizations.
Okay.
One big one is with the Rural Development Ministry
Okay.
to empower women entrepreneurs.
That's awesome.
Yeah. They're giving them a platform to achieve financial independence.
That's great.
And they've partnered with the Vision and AI Labs of ISE.
ISE.
Yeah, for research on AI. Oh, wow. So they're serious about AI.
Yeah, they're looking at cutting-edge stuff like multimodal large language models and generative AI.
So they're really trying to push the boundaries.
Yeah. And they've got partnerships with fintech companies, too.
Like who?
LazyPay
Oh, okay.
to make checkout smoother, cash-free for instant refunds on cash-on-delivery orders.
That's nice.
iCubesWire for helping people discover products,
Okay.
and Plum for employee benefits.
Wow, so they're covering all bases.
Yeah, and their CTO said they use AI for a ton of stuff.
Oh, wow. Like what?
Product recommendations, search ranking, making it easier for sellers to list products, and suggesting pricing strategies.
So they're really embracing technology.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
And they've had some cool marketing campaigns, too.
Oh, yeah, like what?
In September 2021, they launched this campaign called Sahi Lagaya Hai.
Sahi Lagaya Hai.
Yeah, which means like priced just right.
Okay.
It was all about reaching people in Tier 2 markets, showing them how affordable and diverse the products on Meesho are.
Smart move, focusing on value for those price-conscious markets. Right. So who are they up against?
They've got competition from established players like Snapdeal.
Yeah, Snapdeal's been around for a while.
And then there are other platforms like Glowroad, Shop 101, Hubu, and Drop.
So it's a pretty crowded space.
Yeah. But Meesho seems to be holding their own.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they keep innovating.
For sure. And they've got some big plans for the future.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
As of August 2023, there was talk about them going public.
An IPO.
Yeah, within the next year or so.
That would be a big deal.
Right.
It would give them more money to grow and make them even more well-known.
And they want to have 10 million small businesses on their platform.
10 million?
That by 2027.
Wow, that's ambitious.
It's a huge goal.
Yeah, but it shows how committed they are.
To helping small businesses.
Exactly.
So to wrap it all up, we've seen Meesho go from this local fashion delivery service to becoming India's top platform for online reselling.
Right.
Their business model connects suppliers and resellers using the power of social commerce. And they've grown like crazy in user-sellers revenue, and they're expanding into new areas.
Online groceries, e-commerce.
Exactly.
Through Meesho Mall.
Right.
It's been a wild ride.
And their mission hasn't changed.
Democratize internet commerce for everyone to empower all those small businesses in India.
And that's where I want to leave you with a thought.
Okay.
Given everything we've talked about, what do you think this means for the future of e-commerce in India? How important will social commerce be?
Yeah.
And what other markets out there could benefit from something like Meesho?
It's a lot to think about.
It is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Meesho.
My pleasure.
Until next time.